Good afternoon or evening or morning wherever you are in the world. Welcome to one of the first random reviews I'm going to do of 2011. It's been a while, so forgive me if I'm a bit hazy here. First up, Gullivers Travels. I saw this film in the wonderful form that is known as 3D. Yeah baby, and it magically disappeared. Anyway, that's enough about the 3D in this film, because the 3D in this film was not worth it. I don't know if this film was made in 3D. I suspect it wasn't, but the 3D was barely noticeable. I mean, when you make a film about Gulliver's Travels, you expect a certain number of things. Firstly, you expect some impressive scene of the guy being tied down by ropes. As Jack Black said in all those annoying orange sponsored adverts for the last 6 months, it's the iconic scene. You want to see some Laurence Olivier style acting? If you're in the UK, you know what I'm talking about, right? Doesn't occur. Let me summarise the problems I had with this movie. First up, biggest problem of all, Jack Black. I like the guy, but he's totally miscast as Gulliver. Gulliver has to be a guy that is an everyman. He has to be able to act seriously, angry, tragic, sad, happy, everything. If you look into Gulliver's Travels, you know that it starts off as a kind of nice little kiddie story, but the last book is kind of crazy and insane, which includes talking horses. So if you're going to cast someone as Gulliver, it's got to be someone that's going to be quite kind of, I guess, up for many different sides of personality. I would have personally cast someone like Johnny Depp for this movie, okay? But hey, I don't own a movie studio, so there you go. Second problem with this movie, toilet humour. Now, I've never read Jonathan Swift's novel, but I'm pretty certain it did not include scenes where Gulliver pissed on a building to put a fire out. I'm pretty certain it did not include scenes where Gulliver sat on one of the citizens of Lilliput using his backside. I'm pretty certain the original novel did not include scenes where Gulliver went out into the ocean and propelled bullets off his beer belly. I'm pretty certain none of this was in the original book. Hell, I'm pretty certain there was not a scene where Gulliver's little friend serenaded a queen using the lyrics of Prince, as amusing as it was in some ways. It was not in the original source novel. Jonathan Swift would be rolling in his grave if he saw this movie. So, toilet humour and stupid references like that, another reason why this film had problems, okay? Third reason why this film had problems was, if you watch the movie, you kind of notice there's a scene where Gulliver tells the citizens of Lilliput that he was a big shot in the world that he came from, and he has all these crazy adventures. And what he basically does is he takes lots of famous films and he casts himself in them, and the people of Lilliput watch these films being reenacted. Now, see if you can notice a pattern here. Said films include The Empire Strikes Back, Titanic, and Avatar, if I remember correctly. Do you see what the connection is here between all these films? All made by 20th Century Fox, who also happened to make Gulliver's Travels. Now, when I go and see a movie, I don't expect to get bombarded with adverts for other movies, but that's what it felt like when I was watching this scene. I'm sitting back, drinking my Coke. Would have been eating popcorn if I'd had any. And then I get this kind of pointless scene where all these famous 20th Century Fox movies are shoved in my face. If I wanted to watch The Empire Strikes Back or Titanic or, God forbid, Avatar again, I would go out and watch them. I don't need Gulliver's Travels to tell me to watch them. Fourth problem with this film was waste of talent. You cast Billy Connolly and you just give him a few stupid lines? What's that about? And then you also cast the guy that was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I can't remember his name. He was a big fan of the Muppets anyway. But he gets sidelined as well. And then there's like the love interest plot. Jack Black has a crush on his boss. Because, let me summarise the story for you, because it does detract from the original novel. Gulliver works in a mailroom at a New York newspaper office, finds that a new guy takes over his job, and then, you know, his unrequited love, his boss, has an opening for a travel writer, so Gulliver goes on the internet, plagiarises some stuff, and then she sends him off to Bermuda to cover the Bermuda Triangle, hence he ends up in Lilliput, and then he becomes, you know, a big shot in Lilliput. And then there's a giant robot, also not in the source novel. Then said love interest comes to the island as well, she's big. In the end they get together, and it's all happy, lovey-dovey, lovely stuff, and there's a stupid dance sequence as well. Yeah, I didn't mention that earlier, did I? Stupid dance sequence at the end, never a good idea. Gullivers Travels is definitely not a good film to see this year. In fact, it's probably the worst film I've seen so far in 2011, but it's only January, so it could be topped yet, so there's some hope for you yet, Jack Black. So Gullivers Travels, don't bother seeing it, and if you want my advice, especially, do not bother seeing it in 3D.